I know we all remember the name Lunchbox. It was a pretty popular common name, you know, back in like 2023. A lot of niggas would just call this a phase that came and went. But me personally, each and every single day, I'm up thinking about new jazz. Seriously, where did Lunchbox go? Where did bro go? Bro's using that top tier underground classic, the classic plan to blow up and fall off. Drop fire music, go a year without dropping again. It's really just getting sick. I'm starting to get tired of it, but bro's music is so gas.
What I do, you don't love me, you just what I do.
I can't trust I just call it how I see it. When it comes to the new jazz wave that was, you know, once in full effect, I'm not saying he fully came up with the genre, but he's definitely one of the pioneers. He had a lot of respect on his name at the time. Don't get me wrong, that new jazz shit was getting hated on pretty heavy, but so does everything else that blow the fuck up. Look at Cardi's Whole Lotta Red. Look at Yeet. People forget about this, but Yeet had his period where he got hated on too. Niggas was just sleep. And for Lunch, he could have been the exact same type of story. His sound is something completely out of the ordinary, something completely different. And I know for a fact it's something that we hadn't heard before in the underground. So imagine if he had just actually stayed consistent with his drops. But now, because his name is really not pulling as much hype as it was at a certain point in time, I feel like if he was just to randomly drop a random album out of nowhere, that shit would go double cheeseburger. Platinum, can I get a number 4 with large fry? And I do know there was a point in time where, you know, in a little beef with Can, and Can is just running the underground right now in beefs. And I don't know if that's kind of what held him back. I don't know if that's kind of what pivoted him. Lunchbox had a lot of talent, and he still does, in my opinion. Hey, who am I? Maybe bro's in the studio. Maybe he's cooking up for us right now. Maybe he has another generational album that's about to come out, you know, in another year from now. No one's gonna listen to it, but it'll be generational. I really want Lunchbox to make a comeback, but it's just looking like the longer he goes without dropping, the harder and harder that's gonna be. Especially when we just have new and upcoming names that's just blowing up and clearing everybody out the water. Obviously, we got Laser, rappers like Ian, Industry Plant, and then we just have the whole little 2023 wave that's currently blowing up as we speak, like Netspin, Osama. Bro needs to wake up. He needs to realize that he can really step on these underground rappers' necks. Who knows who this video will actually hit? Who knows the audience will reach out to? But if he sees this, nigga, get off your ass, drop some music. But now let me throw the lob, not one, but two. Yeah, I got 2 collabs for y'all niggas. Just so y'all niggas don't think I'm being biased, I got a couple of my gang members to go ahead and provide their input on the situation. Shed a little bit of light from multiple sides.
Now, I've listened to Lunchbox before, man. I ain't gonna say that I'm very tapped in, but I do know his music is hard. Now, a year hiatus is crazy, man. The mysterious shit honestly gotta stop. Especially in the underground. You see what 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓽𝓼 at right now, man. He did the same shit. You see where his career is. Lunchbox is heading in that path as well. Even though the new jazz shit is hard, you gonna have to find a way to come back harder than ever. That new jazz music is no longer relevant in the underground anymore, and more than likely will not blow up if you come back. Maybe if he evolves it more and then comes back with an evolved version of it, it might just sound hard. But honestly, I'm leaving that shit in the past, man. You know what I'm saying? We got Yeet for a reason, man. Regardless, though, it still was a hard genre of music, you know what I'm saying? It brought a lot of diversity into the underground. You know, if you actually tapped into the underground, what I mean is a lot of unknown, probably like rappers with about 5K or below rappers. If you really tapped in like that, a lot of these rappers used this sound and was sounding very good with the sound. But nowadays, the shit is kind of played out, man. I don't think many people is even doing new jazz anymore. If Lunchbox comes back and starts dropping more new jazz music, it won't do too well, man. I honestly think it won't do too well. He might have to hop on Indeed now. I'm gonna be honest, man. He might have to hop on Indeed unless he come back with some bangers. I also gotta talk about taking a year hiatus. If you know you're blowing up, why are you gonna take a year hiatus on music and posting whatever? When he was dropping, he was going crazy, you know what I'm saying? During that time, that sound was very popular, especially what Yeet was doing. A lot of that sound of music was going crazy at the time. But nowadays, that sound is not really good besides for people like Yeet. As of right now, Yeet and Ian are the only 2 that could probably go crazy with the sound to continue. Not gonna lie, if Lunchbox come back with this shit like Jay said, that shit gonna go double cheeseburger. That shit gonna go double whopper. If he come back, he gonna have to come back and drop some bangers, man. He gonna have to come back with some new shit, maybe some evolve with the new jazz sound. Just a waste of a potential career. If he hiding his likes and plays, you can tell that the music ain't doing too well. You just gonna have to hop in and do. Bring them ideas, use that imagination, and do something new, man. Try and come back and drop that banger single, or you might just have to hop on Indeed, man. Sorry, that's. But yeah, man, tap in with my twins, Jay and Fashir. And yeah, twin.
Alright, so Lunchbox. Alright, first of all, I feel like Lunchbox generational album, that's a little crazy, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna act like he made bad music. His stuff was pretty good. It just got washed out because he tried to make his own subgenre, and then I would say a little like weird behavior on his end. And then he also got dissed by @𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓽𝓼, and then he randomly dissed. Oh, the weird behavior I was speaking about was how he randomly dissed 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓽𝓼, and then of course he went MIA, and then he deleted all his songs off of Spotify, off of SoundCloud, and of course the way he looks doesn't really do him any favors either. So I'd say Lunchbox, as Jay said, is pretty down bad right now. The other thing too is he was also like affiliated with 𝓑𝓮. I think him and 𝓑𝓮 are still cool. I'm not totally sure about it or anything, but this was something that people always said about him, and I believe when 𝓑𝓮𝓪𝓽𝓼 dissed him, he said the same thing. He called him a knockoff 𝓑𝓮. I feel like Lunchbox's sound is only unique to like underground fans. To casual listeners, Lunchbox is just not that unique. The other thing too is that the mysterious stuff is kind of weird. I didn't really expect that from him. I feel like he's just been MIA, and he has been. You know, the thing about Lunchbox is he's got to realize he has somewhat of a core fan base, but he's not that big. You know, like everyone's forgotten about him. If Jay hadn't sent me this collab, I wouldn't have thought about him ever. You know, he's just doing his thing. Like I just looked on his Instagram, he got 7K likes on his last picture. Like that's not great, bro. That's just all right. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that he doesn't have connections within the underground or just in general, but he's not doing anything, you know, phenomenal, anything crazy. The other thing too, I'd say, this is why I don't think Lunchbox will be super successful or anything. Maybe he goes crazy on TikTok. Is that I feel like he's already washed out his new jazz sound. Like how many times can you drop on the same type of stuff? And sure, you can evolve your flow a little bit, and your core fans will mess with it, but no one else will really care. I feel like new jazz was the coolest when it was brand new. Right now, it's like just no one really cares for it. Do you know what I'm saying? The other thing too is, as Jay said, he didn't drop for like a year. He hasn't done anything for an entire year. He's just been completely MIA. And first of all, it's not that he didn't drop for an entire year. You can look the past year, he's dropped like 4 or 5 times. Number one thing you'll notice if you look at his SoundCloud, he's hidden the likes and plays on his SoundCloud. So that can only mean one thing, that the music just is not streaming as well. You know what I mean? By the way, I just realized some of his music is back up on SoundCloud, and I just listened to some of his recent songs, and I'm not gonna lie, if he dropped this last year, I wouldn't have noticed. So to me, it just seems like he hasn't really progressed that much. You know what I mean? So if you're gonna go MIA, like at least come back with some crazy stuff. You know, don't just drop the same thing that we're used to you dropping. The other thing I noticed as well is that Lunchbox had some music videos out like a year ago when he was really pushing himself. Now he hasn't done that. So he's just been out of the eye for a long time. And this is where what Jay said also comes into play. You know, there are all these new underground rappers, and I feel like, you know, at the end of the day, music is just entertainment, right? The people always want like new beef, that's a saying. And Lunchbox is like the old beef. So for him to really stand out, he's got to go crazy. He's got to really push himself. He's got to really market himself. He's got to, you know, like network and make connections as you should as an artist. Genuine ones, of course. And I'm trying to find something he does good, you know, and I would say his originality, you know, new jazz, it is pretty original. But other than that, he's just been doing everything wrong, you know, like his image isn't great. He barely posts himself. He hasn't been posting any music. His music has been getting a bit stale. No one's interested in this stuff. It's not looking good for bro. So yeah, that's all I really got to say. Shout out Jay. Shout out Sai. Make sure you subscribe.
All right, gang, you see, hey, it's not just me, all right? I'm not tripping. Make sure you leave me a comment on your opinions about Lunchbox. Were you tapped into new jazz? Or was it just another sad attempt to clone 𝓑𝓮? If you enjoyed this video, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow the Instagram. I'm sure you'll find something else that you like. Y'all niggas witnessing something great. I love every single one of y'all equally. I'm gonna catch you in the next video. Gang.
Go ahead and talk your shit. I ain't worried about that capping. Wish that boy would pull up on me so I can put a cap in him. Bitches seen the money coming. Yeah, I know it's attracting them. 20s, 50s, 100s, boy. Yeah, my pockets weigh a ton. And I play with these sticks like they toys. I like playing in the mud. And I grew up in a swamp, little boy. Where I'm from, we shoot for fun.
Wish that ball would pull up on me so I could put a cap in him.